Alrighty, guys, welcome to tonight's charting session. It is Wednesday, August 23rd. Hopefully, you guys are having a good day today. So, today was kind of an interesting day. I ended up not taking any trades today, and we'll talk about why. And I'm going to talk about my bias going into the morning, my bias going into the PM, because it did end up flipping once we got that initial move in the morning. And then what I'm going to be looking at going into the rest of the week. So, in the morning, I did have a bearish bias. Actually, that was not the morning, was it? It was right here. So, going into the morning, this is what I was looking at. I did have a bearish bias going into the day. Looking at the daily, we were continuing to reject off of that daily fair value gap. Looking into the 1 hour at open, we've swept this internal buy side level, now starting to get displacement to the downside. Now, we haven't really gotten that break of structure right. We sweep this level, then displacement back up. But we've come up and now rejected this fair value gap. So now I'm looking to start to maybe possibly see us retrace it to discount and then see lower, right? Notice this move to the downside. We never ended up retracing back to discount of this range. We've been super bearish. And I was expecting us to continue to respect that daily fair value gap like we have been. And I was looking to see sell side here. So zooming in on the 15-minute, at the open, I was possibly looking to start to see structure in this 15-minute fair value gap. And I was expecting that if we were to run through this area, I was expecting to probably go see new highs, right? So going into the open, NQ ended up coming up, and we ended up just absolutely running through this area. We had no selling pressure whatsoever. We were very, very bullish, and we ended up just pushing pretty much the entire morning. And now, at this point in time, for me, there is no long setup here. There's no setup. There's no quality trade for me here. And pretty much the entire day, there was no quality A+ setup for me. So I let the market do its thing. We just, continued to kind of just trail to the upside today. In my opinion, there was no really quality long that we could have taken. Now, I might look back and we might have gotten a scalping model setup, but other than that, I wouldn't have really taken any trade today, and I'm totally fine not taking any trades today because knowing that we stayed patient, knowing I didn't see anything I liked, I'm totally fine not taking a trade, right? Again, like we talked about last night, trading, a big part of it is defense. And a lot of the days where you come in and you are not expecting something to happen and you're getting something that's showing you that you're not, familiar with, the best thing you could do is not take a trade, right? Going into the morning, there was no quality setups that I saw today, so I'm not going to force anything. I'm not going to try to make money easily. I'm going to be patient and only wait for quality setups, and I never got one today. So I'm happy with how I performed. Again, I didn't take anything and was able to stay patient, able to stay disciplined. But I do want to revisit my bias going into the morning and possibly see why I could have been long biased. Now, the reason I think I could have been long biased here is going into yesterday's price action. When we did put in this high, notice when we came down, we never had a break of structure or displacement to the downside, right? Now, I would have been really, really bearish if this would have broken down with displacement, right? Because this would be our structure shift. So this is now sell-side liquidity being swept at these lows. So when we get this displacement to the upside, this now becomes our break of structure, and this sell-off in the morning was actually a pullback to that discounted fair value gap to then go higher towards buy side. So that's one way that I could have looked at it going into the morning. But a lot of my bias going into the morning was based off of that daily fair value gap that we were continuing to reject. And I was expecting us to continue to reject that, but then we ended up getting a lot of buying pressure in the morning. So totally fine not taking a trade today. If I'm being completely honest, there's not really a lot that I feel a need to talk about today. There wasn't really a lot that happened. The move in the PM session was because of NVIDIA earnings. But just looking at this action today, it's not really that interesting. I didn't really get anything out of today, really. So this kind of session, I want to take more look into some trades that you guys took. So we'll start just, if you guys have anything you want me to look at, then let's take a look here. Was that in the morning? Was that on I was on a 5-minute. 15-minute rejection. I want to go look at what the 1-minute looked like at that time. Okay. It's not bad. I do not like this setup though because you are not in discount at this range, right? The best possible trade you could have here is if you were going to wait to discount, right? So I waited for discount, but again, I never got that short setup, so I didn't end up taking a trade. What is this on? Was this on NQ or was this on Forex? NQ? Was that was up here? I probably would not have taken this just because looking at the 1 minute, a lot of the time you're going to get faked out trying to take a short like that on a 1 minute, especially when we've been having that, a lot of bullish pressure to the downside. The only really like short I would be okay with you taking would be here once we get a bigger time frame break of structure to the downside on a 5 minute. How do you? Yeah, you use fib to measure discount. Just go from the high and low of the range. Discount lies here. I would give this like a B setup because it's a good setup. You have buy side market structure shift, but this is where you would want to get the best entry possible. Now I like that you waited for it and then entered, but it lowers the risk. I mean, you have good risk to reward still because your stops here, but in this specific area, we could still come up to here, stop you out, and then go back down. So it's more of just a little bit later of an entry, but again, the bias and the trade is still valid, and you applied good risk to it. But it's a little bit of a lower quality just because it's not the best possible entry you could have gotten for that specific trade. Can you go over when the best time to switch our bias would have been? Because seeing that long just pointed out, it is such a good move, but had a bear bias, which is something I struggle with. I marry my bias and feel like when PA is against my bias, I miss even good setups, which obviously I wish I didn't. So there's two things I would say to that. Number one, you should be fine with missing out. That's totally fine, right? You shouldn't care especially if you don't have confidence with that bias, then there's no reason you should have taken that trade to begin with, right? Then you have to think about it that way. If I have a bias to go short, there's no reason for me to take a long because that means I'm not following my plan, right? It's only after the action I need to go back and say, hey, what could I've maybe seen differently here? Because I didn't know that was going to happen, right? So the best way, the thing that made me switch long bias today was when we broke through this fair value gap. Because we looked very, very bearish. We're continuing to reject on the daily. We've come up, put a high in, came up, respected this 15-minute fair value gap. If we respect this 15-minute fair value gap and get this big move to the downside, I'm expecting sell side to be here. So if we come back to this discount of this range, we should not see us come back to this high. We should not see us come back to this high, right? So once this bearish fair value gap and discount got ran through, I was pretty, really bullish on the day. Because if this gets ran through, I'm expecting that daily fair value gap that we've been looking for to get ran through. And then that creates the draw on liquidity, that previous high, which ended up getting taken from NVIDIA earnings. All right, so let's talk about going into tomorrow because it is going to be a little bit interesting. Let's click the charts here a bit. So, starting off on the daily, we do need to notice that this low has been taken. Now, I do still want the draw to be lower on a bigger time frame. On a weekly, I still want to see lower. But I do have to take into account, right? I'm not going to marry my bias. I have to take into account the price action I'm seeing. And I did notice, right, we have just ran through this bearish fair value gap, right? And if we're bearish, we want to see bearish fair value gaps getting respected, bullish fair value gaps getting disrespected. So right now, we just had a big move to the upside. And looking at the 4 hour, this does look like it could potentially become low resistance liquidity run, and we could end up coming back up to this high. So this could absolutely be a possibility, right? Oh my God, that was... Right? This could absolutely be a possibility. All of these lows stacked together, we could absolutely run this. But going into the morning, now that we have swept this high, I would like to see us come back down to this 4 hour fair value gap that we created today. So I am bearish going into the morning, but I'm starting to lean a little bit more bullish just because of that daily fair value gap getting ran through and the strength that we're now starting to have after sweeping that low, right? We're having a lot of displacement back to the upside, so I'm expecting us to probably run a lot of these highs. So going into tomorrow, I want to see us come back down here and possibly look for internal structure back to the upside, right? So what do I mean by internal structure? Well, if I zoom down to the 15-minute, we have, some lows here. Let's say we get, a nice sell-off in the overnight session, and we end up coming down here, right? So let's say we start, chopping, and then we end up sweeping internal, and then we get, big displacement back to the upside, right? That is when I would be looking to possibly take a continuation long back towards, those highs that we created. Once we get validation that we're bouncing off that area, we get break of structure to the upside, and then a pullback to a fair value gap on a bigger time frame. And then I can zoom into smaller time frames and look for a more precise entry as well. But again, a lot of it's just going to depend on what happens in the overnight session. And to be honest, now that high's taken, I'm expecting pretty shitty action tomorrow as well, but we'll see. It's the end of the quarter. There's a lot of different things, but in my opinion, I don't remember August last year being as bad as it has been this year. But there's a bunch of different factors. I get what you're saying, but having a wrong bias kind of messes with me because it feels like I can't read price correctly. Like looking at it now, I almost obviously where we want to go draw today. After respecting that fair value gap, wish that having a wrong bias didn't ruin the rest of my day for me mentally. That's something that you are going to have to get over because that is okay. Sometimes you're always going to be wrong. That's a part of trading, right? If you are married to a bias, you have to push your ego to the side because right now you are getting so upset just because you're wrong. Not even because you took a bad trade, but just because you're wrong. That is something you need to fix because in trading, you have to push the ego to the side. You should not care if you are right or you're wrong. You need to care about focusing on building good habits and recognizing it when you are wrong. Say, hey, my bias today was wrong. Was my bias valid? What could I have maybe seen differently here? Instead of being like, you know what, I'm fucking pissed that I was wrong. You have to be able to, be the bigger person, understand what actually is going on, and use that, knowledge to, better yourself and more. It's just always going to add to your experience, right? Days like this, being able to look back at your bias, it's always going to add just to more experience. And the more that you're able to see these things happen, the more confident you're going to become with your bias. Made 12K today, Justin? Let's fucking go, bro. When I'm charting, I overchart and don't know the significant levels that I need to focus on. That would be a great topic I'd like to hear more about. If you ever are confused on the bias, I always say clear your charts. Every single thing on your chart, wipe it clean if you are confused on the bias and do a top-down analysis. Go to the daily. What's the draw? Go to the 4-hour. What's the draw? Go to the 1 hour. What do you think the draw is? Go to the 15-minute. What do you think the draw is? Go to the 5-minute. What do you think the draw is? When you can clear your chart and get a fresh, I guarantee you're going to find yourself having a better understanding. Because a lot of the times you have so many things on your chart, you're overthinking it, you're overcomplicating it. Just clear it all and just do a fresh top-down analysis. How would you trade in school, Justin? What would be the best way? Mark out the levels pre-market and set an alert? In school, when I was trading in school, I would just, if there happened to be a setup when I was in class, I would take it. I didn't really have alerts for any specific levels, but you could. That's, smart if you want to, alert, a buy side level or a sell side level, whatever it is. But yeah, for me, it was just, if it was there, it was there. If it wasn't, it wasn't. What do you think the draws on GBP USD? Ugh, that daily is ugly. Definitely I would want to see lower. We haven't taken these lows out. We have all of these stacked 3 lows here. That's such a weird chart. Yeah, I think I would want that daily low to be the draw. But right now we are consolidating, so the only really the best possible trade I would want to see is come up to possibly take this buy side level and then look to take a short back down. But right now we had a big move down, big move back up. The first draw on liquidity, I would probably expect to be this high. Yeah, I would expect the draw on liquidity to be that high. I expect come down, sweep these little equal lows here, then probably go back. Would this be your ideal setup for a trade? Liquidity sweep bouncing off 5, 15-minute fair value gap, market structure shift, displacement, enter off discount fair value gap, 5-minute, 15-minute fair value gap is respected. Yep. Something like that. Pretty much. I really do not have a lot of stuff to talk about today. I mean, today was pretty fucking boring, if I'm being completely honest. Is that NVIDIA candle a solid imbalance? Can we use it as fair value gap? Yeah, you can. Yeah, PI should definitely get a lot better next month. My best month last year was in November. This fair value gap is what I'm watching. Yeah, this whole week's been pretty boring. Better PA means cleaner draw on liquidity, easier to redraw on liquidity, more volatility. For example, like people would consider this to me is not volatility. This to me is just we're just pumping. Like again, my strategy is the best when I have volatility, meaning we're going back and forth on a bigger time frame, right? Right now, this is not going back and forth. This is just going up. This is just going up. That's why the best setups I get is when we have like this. Discount. Just discount of this range. Doesn't matter which fair value gap it's in. Not this. The first fair value gap, this always gets okay. Notice, buy side's right here, right? If buy side, our external buy side just got swept, then this fair value gap most likely gets ran through to the downside, right? So I want to see us go back to discount of this range, right? What's more probable, us to bounce off this fair value gap or this fair value gap? This a lot more than this, right? Because this is in premium, not in discount. This is in discount. Right? If I'm going to draw this range, right? This fair value gap is not in discount. This is in discount. Let's check gold. Gold is looking just I don't really want to touch gold at all. So we are coming back into this weekly fair value gap. So I still am pretty bearish on gold. I would want to see us come down to this low. So we are in this weekly fair value gap. So for me to like be very confident with a bias here, I would want to see this fair value gap get ran through to the downside, and then I have confidence that this is going to be the draw on liquidity. But right now we can still go higher. So until this fair value gap gets ran through to the downside, then I still think we go higher. Yeah, here's my fib settings. I'll just screenshot it for you. All right, let's do a little bit of a replay session because we haven't really been there's nothing. I don't really have anything else to talk about, to be honest. Today was boring as fuck. So let's do a replay session. What do we want to do it on? Give me something. Somebody give me a pair or something to do a replay on. Euro. I'm down to do Euro. All right. Scrunch this. I'm not going to go too far back in price action because I do want to use the 1 minute. So. All right. So, looking at this chart, I'm pretty bullish here. Notice that we have no displacement to the downside here. We just swept that daily low, big daily candle back to the upside. We're holding that fair value gap. I'm probably expecting us to go back higher. So looking at the 4 hour, I would want to see, again, the draw on liquidity going into this week at this specific time would be that high. Do have a nice 4 hour fair value gap here. Let's zoom in here. Possibly see that low. 15 minute looking good. Let's see. Still would want to see that low get taken. Continue back down. All right, there we go. Displacement back to the upside. Can I zoom in any further? I can. This would not be a bad long. Can I zoom in? I don't think I can zoom into the 1 minute. I don't know if I should try. Fuck. I think I fucked it. Damn it. Where am I? No, I just got spoiled, man. Fuck. All right. We only go down to the 15 minute here. Okay. Want to see this go back to discount. Longs wouldn't be bad. You would have hit that first PT, but best quality setup is when we go to discount. All right, discount's now been met. Need to see displacement back to the upside. Not too bad. Okay, we just took this buy side level. Big displacement back to the downside. This is when I would zoom into the 1 minute. I can't zoom into the 1 minute, though. So I'm just going to guess that we rejected some sort of 1 minute fair value gap. My first PT would be that low. Stop would be like somewhere here. Action is very, very slow. Dude, what the fuck? What the hell? Why are we going nowhere right now? There you go. That would have worked out nicely. So bigger time frame, looking at the daily, still would be pretty bullish here. Are we in a fair value gap on the 1 hour? No, we're not. But we are in that inverse, though. So if we do get some displacement back up, could possibly see a long. Swept internal. We swept that high. Notice no displacement. Probably going to go take that low. Oh, there we go. Now, I wouldn't. This is like a bigger time frame trade. I would want to zoom in here and get a better opportunity. Holy. You want to see new lows. Now, if we displace below this on a bigger time frame, I'd be more bearish. we'll see how this 4 hour ends up sweeping that low. Big displacement back to the upside. Would expect the first drawn liquidity to be that high, and then this high. Did we take this high here? No, we didn't. High gets taken. Now, if we continue to displace through here, then I would expect this to become the draw. Again, I would expect all this to become low resistance liquidity. So depending on the displacement here, there we go, continuing to go higher. Expecting a little bit of a pullback, but probably just going to go straight up towards buy side. Yep, there you go. Again, external drawn liquidity is still going to be higher. So I expect us to probably just continue to run here. So we'll zoom in, see if we can get maybe internal setup, but I expect us to probably just run. Woo! There we go, just run. All right, so now I need to see a lot more structure start to form here now that we took that buy side level on a bigger time frame. All right, now we're just running. I have no interest in trading this. Looking at the 4 hour, we're at all-time highs right now. Actually, are we at all-time highs? Ooh, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, are we back at discount of this range? We are, so we're in discount of this range. We're in a really big volume imbalance. Just swept that. Was there a setup here? Might have been. Yeah, right there. I expect make new highs. I didn't really get to take that, but oh, that would have been a nice short. I want to go back and see if there was a setup here. Oh, is that where we are right now? I think that's where we are right now. No, it's not. Wait, what the fuck? Go back, go back, go back. Okay. I want to go down to a 5 minute. Again, draw would be sell side. Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. Now, I can't go back to a 1 minute, but I'm guessing this would be displacement. Now that pullback would be to discounted fair value gap, and then would expect to see lows. There we go. Lows gets taken. Definitely expect to probably see new lows as well. There we go. So now this is displacement to the downside on a bigger time frame, right? So a bigger time frame now. This is our break of structure. Would want to see us come back to this 1 hour fair value gap. And look to see internal being swept. So I'd want to see this high being swept and then look to go lower. All right, I want to see displacement back down. Not yet, not yet, not yet. There we go. Decent enough. Stop would be at the high. Actually, it's not the best, but yeah, we just ended up sweeping this, so I'd probably get stopped right there. Would need to see more. I want to see a big move. Right now, we're continuing back up. Now this fair value gap got ran through, would probably expect to go back to this high. Now if this inverse gets ran through, definitely going back lower, but yeah, so definitely going to go to this low. Big selling pressure. And at this point in time, I need to see internal structure. I'm going to try this. I'm just going to keep the price going, and I'm just going to enter and exit when I feel like I should. Oh, that. Okay. It's so fast. Let me slow this down. Holy fuck. God damn it. Wait, go back. Okay. Let me go to a 5 minute. I'm going to go to like a 3x. And I'm just going to buy and sell based off what I think the draw on liquidity is, okay? We're so bearish. Holy shit. We are just dying. Boring, boring, boring. Come on, start to do something. Patiently waiting, patiently waiting. Came up, swept that high. Should definitely see lower. Notice how slow the retracements are to the upside, right? Notice when we sell off, it's very fast, but when we're starting to come back up, it's very, very slow. Oh. Sheesh. Did we take that low? No, we didn't. Should dump here. Should dump. There we go. Justin, are you actually using your strat or are you just buying and selling? No, I'm using my strat. I'm looking at every single thing that we look at in my head, right? Everything that I see, everything that we look to take a trade, I'm seeing right now, right? I'm showing you what my what experience looks like, right? When you have familiarity of just what the draw and liquidity is, like all I'm doing is waiting for entries based off of what the market's telling me of what the draw and liquidity is, right? That's all I'm doing. I'm just good at reading the draw. Like this is me trading how I normally would trade, just without drawing and just very fast. Right? Like I'm just looking, okay, we took this high, we're having big displacement. What do I think we hit? We take this low right here, right? Now, if this fair value gap gets ran through, we're bullish still, right? So what am I still waiting for? I'm expecting there probably to be some sort of imbalance on a bigger time frame here. So I need to see big displacement. I'm expecting this to become low resistance liquidity, possibly going back to this low. But again, I'm still waiting, right? We haven't gotten that low being taken yet. Right now, we're still bullish. There we go. Big sell-off. What am I expecting? Probably see lows. See? Boom. That's it. Big displacement back up, holding bullish. What do I expect? Probably to go to discount out of the range. I think I missed discount right there. There we go. Going back up. Do we hold this fair value gap or not? Nope, goes back down. What do I expect? Sweep this low, maybe bounce up. Nope, reject those fair value gap. Probably going to go make new lows. Makes new lows. Okay, what am I waiting for? Comes back up. Do we break structure to the upside? No, we don't. Not yet, not yet. Still very choppy action. Still wouldn't trust it. Now we're starting to get displacement. Still holding. Do we sweep that little low right there? Still waiting. I want to see that inverse. Not yet. Not yet. Still bearish. Maybe sweep this low right here. No displacement back up. Nothing, nothing. Right now, wouldn't touch, wouldn't touch. Okay, probably going to go see this high. Still waiting, still waiting, still waiting. Still waiting. There you go. High is taken. Do we get displacement back down? Not yet, not yet. There we go. Nope, not yet. Still didn't displace. Probably going to go see new highs. Makes new highs. Do we displace through the low? No, not yet. Still bullish. Probably going to go to this high now. There we go. That high's taken. Do we get displacement to the downside? Starting to. Do we reject this fair value gap? If so, we're going to go lower. There we go. Going to expect probably this low to be taken. There we go. Big sell-off. That's my buy. Do we sweep this? Yep. Big displacement back to the upside. Do we come back, hold this fair value gap? Nope, we don't. Go lower. Draw is going to become this low now. Do we come up, maybe sweep a high to get an entry? There we go. Sweeps high. Probably going to go to the low. Missed my exit. Coming back up. Do we sweep this high? Now all this got ran through. Probably going to go make new highs. Makes new highs. Probably going to go to this high now. Still waiting, still waiting. All right, highs taken. Do we continue to displace? We continue to displace. Probably going to go higher. Bigger time frame. Still waiting. External buy side's now taken. Do we get displacement to the downside? If so, it's still waiting. If not, we'll go higher. Do we sweep that low? Still waiting. Possibly buy model. Probably go see new highs. Displacement back down. Right now we're just choppy. Makes new highs. Again, for me to be really bearish, I need to get a big move like through these lows here. These lows right here. Right now we're still bullish. Where are we on a bigger time? This is when I'd be able to zoom out. Right now it's hard to kind of tell where we are. But I'm expecting probably a big, like some kind of imbalance here. But we could come up, maybe touch that high. Right now we don't have any past structure, so I gotta wait. Right now we're just choppy, choppy, choppy. Choppy, choppy. Expecting to probably take this low. Takes the low. We're bullish. Oh, news. There we go. Still just kind of going nowhere. Do we come down, sweep this, then get bought back up? We do. Expecting to take these highs. That would be easy. Displacement back down. Do we sweep that high? We do. Would expect to maybe come back down to that, but we swept internal, so going back, probably going to see highs. There we go. Highs taken. We never ended up touching this fair value gap right here, though. So really, technically, wouldn't really be in any entry. Selling pressure starting to pick up some volume here. Would want to see us take that low. Oh my god, that's how we do it. Big selling pressure. So this is very, very bearish now. So I'd want to start seeing us come back up to the discount of that area. So again, now waiting internal model. My bias is bearish on a bigger time frame. This would be a very riskier entry just to probably see that new low, just taking advantage of that rejection. Once I saw that fair value gap get rejected, we've now made new lows, so I do want to be careful about that. But right now I'm going to continue to be bearish until we get really big displacement back to the upside. Take that high. Probably going to see lows now. I'd like to see us go back to discount of this range, but right now we're just kind of chopping. New lows met. Highs taken. Swept it. Displacement back down. Would want to see new lows. That fair value gap gets ran through, so I take that off. Now coming back to discount. Big displacement back to the upside after sweeping that low, right? That's very, very bullish now, right? So I'd want to see us go back to discount of this range now and then look for longs. Coming back down. Do I want to? We're bullish. Looking to see new highs now. We could come back down here and still sweep this low, though, so that is a possibility. But right now, I would want to see that low get taken. Or that high get taken, sorry. That gets ran through, so we'd probably go expect to see this low. But this low internal did get taken. But I would like to see this get taken, and then bounce. So I want to see us come down, sweep this low, and then go back to new highs. All right. Low's been taken. Want to see displacement back up. Still waiting, still waiting, still waiting. Swept that high. Probably sell till we see that low. Definitely expect to see that low. There you go. Now I'd be really bullish, expecting to probably see highs. Get out of break even. Maybe we get displacement back up. Right now we are choppy, choppy, choppy. We've literally gone nowhere in like 2 days. What the fuck? 3 days. Still expecting us to go back to discount of this range, so I'd probably expect it to be lower. Boring, 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 boring. Come on, do something. All right, I want to start to see, I'm guessing we're around discount of this range now, so I'd want to start seeing big displacement back to the upside. There we go. Not bad, but not the greatest. Sweeps that high, rejects. Internal now swept. Still waiting. Again, right now we're just choppy. 5 minutes still going lower. This fair value gap on a bigger time frame gets ran through. I'd probably expect to see new lows. Yep, big selling off. So now we've swept sell side, bigger time frame. Probably come up, take this high. Unless we get displacement of the downside beforehand. Takes the high. Do we get displacement? This would now be my break of structure if we were going to sell off. There we go. Pull back, waiting. There we go. Sell. First BT would be that low. If this fair value gap gets ran through, I would take it off. We were going to take this low. There we go. Takes the low. That would be my half off. I'm going to continue to hold this just to see if we go to the new lows. But it would be riskier because we are bullish here. Now that sell side's been taken. But that would be first BT off. That's where I'd exit. Should maybe probably see new lows. Unless that high gets broken through. This is coming like we want to see low resistance liquidity run. That's where I long. We should see this high now. This fair value gap gets ran through. We're going lower. Damn, we is choppy. Makes new lows. You want to waste your time? Don't waste your time with me. Coming back up. Doing stuff. Hey, guys, notice when August hit. how shitty the price action became. All right. I think that's enough. Ugh. Did you... Did you guys enjoy that? Dude, half the people left the charting session. Do you consider a higher time frame SMT between ES and NQ more relevant than ES and YM? Right now, there's a massive YM bearish SMT with the factor. I don't really look at YM for SMT, to be honest. What helped you find drone liquidity? I struggle so much with it. Just experience, brother. That's all it is. But do you guys understand? This is just me like fucking around what I think the drawn liquidity is. That's all it is. Like just looking at these orders, right? That was nasty. Like, and notice the timing of them as well, right? Notice the timing of them. Like, when I enter, a lot of times is when we get that move, right? Enter, big move up. Enter, nice move up. Sell, big sell off. Sell. And then August hits. And this is August. Or that's July, actually. This is August. But, yeah. All right. That was fun. What's your question, Londa? This is what I see on EU. If you don't get higher time frame break of structure, the downside would still not be a good short because we might sweep that lows just go higher. Yeah, we could. I'm honestly... Wait, let me... We did sweep this low, so we do want to be careful. I would expect us to come back to this high. I do think we're going to probably come back to this high. We could look to maybe sweep this and then go lower. Oh, my bad. Keep in mind, we have swept this sell side level, though. So we could sweep this and go lower, but keep in mind, we could absolutely run through this. All right, guys. That is all I have for you guys tonight. That was, again, today was boring, so it's always fun to do a little replay session when we have time. I don't understand SMTs at all because I'm confused if we want pairs to correlate or not. I'm confused on why one pair sweeping liquidity is good and the other not is okay. Like, wouldn't we want both to sweep? Depends on the situation. A lot of the times I like to see if we have bigger time frames sweep. Like, for example, like let's say we have, right? Let's say we have this. And then here we have okay. Now both ES and NQF swap liquidity, right? But where am I looking to take my entry? I'm looking to take my entry right here, right? But notice at this specific time here, ES is now making a little bit of a higher high, NQ is making a lower high. So if we get a rejection right here on ES, say, hey, boom, big down to the downside, boom, short. That's validating my shorts, right? Because both have swept liquidity on a bigger time frame, but intraday or on a smaller time frame, that SMT is now in favor of that external bias. Does that make sense? So that's the best way I like to use it. The best way I like to use SMTs is internal structure validating an external bias. ES and Q both have swept buy side, right? We come up, we're having a short model, but internally, ES, right, breaks this high here, forming higher high, and Q does not break that high, forming lower high. So we have SMT intraday already validating our short bias. Buy side's already been swept on a bigger time frame. All right. That's all I have. Enjoy the rest of your night. Get some rest. I will see you all tomorrow morning. Peace.